Hello, welcome to Tony's Bonsai. Today we're talking fertiliser. I had mixed success last year with my fertiliser. I'm going to tell you what I used last year, the changes that I'm going to make this year, a little bit about the basics of fertiliser, but I'm not an expert. I'm not going to go very deep into that. But let's start with organic versus chemical. When you're talking fertiliser, organic doesn't mean it's grown without using pesticides and all that kind of stuff. Organic means it comes from plant or animal. So we've got sort of seaweed, fish emulsion, chicken shit. There's a whole range. When it comes to non-organic fertiliser, you've got loads of different varieties again, but this is the only one I've got lying around, and it's the most popular. It's Miracle Grow, and it's derived from sort of mining minerals from the ground. A fertiliser like Miracle Grow is the easiest and cheapest option. It works well. You just mix that in with your water your trees, job done. You might be asking, if this does the job, why bother with these other ingredients? And I very quickly want to just explain NPK, that's nitrogen, phosphorus and potassium, and they're the ratios in different fertilisers. Miracle Grow has got basically the perfect ratios of those, and a lot of people swear by it. Some people believe incorrectly that there's a difference between the quality of, for example, the nitrogen or the potassium in these natural products than in mineral fertiliser, and there just isn't. It's the same. Plants take it up the same. If anything, they probably take it up easier from this kind of Miracle Grow. However, there are advantages to using this kind of product. There's a lot of science behind the reasons that people like to use organic fertilisers. I'm not going to dive deep into it, mainly because I don't know it. But the theory is that the organic fertilisers add micronutrients and beneficial bacteria and funguses and that kind of thing, and they contribute to the overall soil health of the tree. Now, some people don't subscribe to that. That's great. What I'm doing is this year, I'm just testing it out to see how my trees do. And obviously, I'll be reporting back later in the year to tell you how they're getting on. I've not got many indoor plants. I've got a few ficus. So for anything indoors, I use chemical fertiliser. The reason being that this organic fertiliser, it does have quite a bad odour to it. I had a lamb Rogan Josh for tea last night. It was lovely, but I don't need to be adding to the problem. Last year, these three products were what I used to fertilise my trees. So it's chicken manure, a fairly cheap liquid seaweed that I bought from the B&M Bargains, and Miracle Grow. As I say, they did okay, but I watched a video by Peter Warren, and he's kind of persuaded me to switch. I've not opened these two yet. I'm going to in a moment. But in replacement of the chicken manure, I bought this stuff. There's three reasons that I've switched from chicken manure to this new pelleted stuff. And the first reason is the salt. This stuff contains a lot of salts, and you've got to watch out for the levels of those in your pots. Price, this is actually quite a lot cheaper. This box is about £5. I got this big bag for £20. And the main reason is the smell. These pellets, they're quite nice. They're almost like sort of hemp seed or grass or something like that. They taste, they're pretty good. Whereas this stuff absolutely reeks. This is always a sign they really don't want the cap to come off in transit. So I don't know what this is going to smell like. So this is BioBiz fish mix. It's 5 litres. This should do me the year. It's not the cheapest. I think it was about, I can't even remember. Might have been around £30 this. So it's not cheap, but this will do me 12 months. And let's have a smell. I've never smelt it yet. It's not... Well, it's not bad. It's all right. Maybe there's something wrong with me. I quite like it. Now for the seaweed. You may say, what's the difference? And basically the difference is that this liquid seaweed is extracted chemically from the kelp, whereas this is what they call cold pressed, and apparently this has got a lot more goodness in it. Let me check the difference in smell. No real smell to that. And this one, oh, that's lovely. That smells like rock pools. In fact, it's kind of like what an oyster tastes like. I mean, I don't like oysters, but that's all right. These two products need mixing at roughly the same ratio. It's about 10 millilitres to each litre of water. So if you've only got a few trees, you can just mix it in your watering can, water away, just follow the instructions on the tubs. But for me, because I've got so many trees, that'd take a long time. It takes me around half an hour to water all my trees with a watering lance. So if I change that into a watering can and backwards and forwards, it'd be a couple of hours. I can't be bothered. So I bought this special watering gun. You put the fertiliser in here, you attach your hose pipe, and it just mixes at whatever ratio you set it to. So I can set this to 1%, which means that if I put a litre in here, that'll give me 1,000 litres via the hose pipe, which is perfect. Even though these don't smell too bad, I think it'd be wise to do this outside, fill this can up, and I'll show you how I actually fertilise. Okay, I'll start off by adding some fish emulsion. Oh, it's quite thick, like treacle that. Then into that, I'll add the seaweed. On with the lid. And just connect up the hose pipe. There we go. And with a bit of luck now, when this sprays out, it should just come out with 1% fertiliser. So let's try. All I need to do is turn the water on. So I've got full mains pressure on there. Oh, and I can see it's brown in colour. And I just go around watering my trees. Now to use some of this solid organic fertiliser. I don't think I mentioned before, one of the advantages of organic fertiliser is it's very hard to over fertilise. If you use Miracle Grow, you've really got to use the correct measurements. And not that that's particularly complicated, but with organic, you can pretty much do what you want and the trees are going to be fine. I just thought I'd show you the difference between the two fertilisers. This is the 555 one that I got for 20 kilos of. And this is the chicken manure. So it's pretty similar. As I say, the main difference is the smell. Whoa, get rid of that. In terms of application, it's pretty straightforward. This is a Nothophagus southern beech, and I want to fertilise it fairly heavily. So I'll just create 3 or 4 nice piles like that. And that'll do. I applied this same fertiliser about a week or so ago, maybe 10 days, and you can see it's beginning to break down. That's why we apply it in piles, so that it sort of rots down as it gets wet. And all that goodness will be going down into the roots. I'm going to work my way around the garden now, liberally applying this fertiliser to pretty much all my trees. I want them all to grow. They're all in the early stages of development, so I want them to have really strong years, lots of nice green foliage, so they can heal, develop, extend, all the stuff I want. If you're really interested in learning about fertiliser, there's lots of available material. I'm going to put a link below to Peter's video, check that out. And I'll also include links to all the different fertilisers that I've used in this episode. They're probably only available in the UK, but you can find similar equivalents all around the world. As I said earlier, I'm not an expert. This is just my routine. A lot of people have been asking me what I do, so I thought I'd share it. And if you've enjoyed the video, hit like. As always, thanks for joining me. Have a great day, and I'll see you soon.